September, 476 AD. The city of Rome. For 1,000 years, this city was the heartbeat of the world. It was the eternal city. Its legions were invincible, its laws were absolute, and its emperors were gods. But tonight, there are no cheering crowds. There are no legions marching to save it. A barbarian chieftain named Odoacer walks into the palace, not to destroy it, but to dismiss it. The fall of Rome didn't happen with a giant explosion. It ended with a quiet whimper. How did the greatest superpower in history reach the point where it couldn't even defend its own gates? Did the barbarians destroy Rome? Or did Rome destroy itself long before the first enemy arrived? To understand the fall, we must look away from the borders and look into the Colosseum. In its final century, Rome was rotting from the inside. The economy was collapsing, inflation was skyrocketing, and poverty was everywhere. But the government had a solution. Not economic reform, but a policy called panem et circenses, bread and circuses. While the frontiers burned, the people of Rome were distracted by free food and brutal entertainment. The gladiator games became an anesthetic, a drug to keep the population numb. The state spent its dwindling gold not on the army, but on importing wild beasts and staging mass slaughters to keep the mob happy. Rome had become a consumer of its own soul, addicted to entertainment while the walls crumbled. While the gladiators bled in the arena, a deadlier game was being played in the Senate. The Roman elite, once the symbol of duty and honor, had become parasites. The rich senators refused to pay taxes. They used their power to push the tax burden onto the poor farmers and the middle class. The result was catastrophic. Farmers abandoned their land because they couldn't afford to work it. The economy ground to a halt. But the ultimate betrayal was against their own defenders. Rome had brilliant generals, men like Stilicho and Aetius, who saved the empire from Alla the Hun. But the paranoid emperors and jealous senators saw these competent men as threats. They executed their best generals for treason. Rome effectively cut off its own right arm, terrified that it might one day punch the emperor. With no money to pay Roman soldiers, and no generals to lead them, Rome made a fatal mistake. They hired the enemy. The late Roman army wasn't Roman at all. It was filled with mercenaries, Goths, Franks, and Huns, who fought for gold, not for Rome. And when the gold ran out, the loyalty ended. In 410 AD, the unthinkable happened. Alaric, a Visigoth king who had once fought for Rome, turned against it. He sacked the city. For the first time in 800 years, foreign boots walked the streets of the capital. It was a psychological shock that the world never recovered from. Saint Jerome, hearing the news in Bethlehem, wrote, "The city which had taken the whole world was itself taken." By 476 AD, the Western Empire was a ghost. It existed only on paper. The final irony of history lies in the name of the last emperor, Romulus Augustulus. He was named Romulus, after the founder of Rome, and Augustus after its first great emperor. But history mocked him with the nickname Augustulus, the little Augustus. When the Germanic general Odoacer arrived, there was no great battle, no final stand. Odoacer simply walked into the palace and told the boy to step down. He stripped him of his purple robes and sent the imperial insignia to Constantinople with a message. The West no longer needs an emperor. The sun didn't explode, it just set. The lights went out in Europe. So, did Rome fall? Politically, yes. The structure collapsed. The aqueducts broke, and the roads decayed. But the spirit of Rome survived. Its language, Latin, became the voice of the church and science. Its laws became the foundation of modern justice. The Roman Empire transformed into the Catholic Church and the kingdoms of Europe. Rome teaches us a haunting lesson. No civilization is too big to fail. It wasn't the barbarians who killed Rome. They just kicked in the door of a house that was already rotting from the inside. Do you see parallels between the fall of Rome and modern superpowers today? Are we living in our own version of bread and circuses? Let me know in the comments. If you want to keep history alive, subscribe to History of Us.